I'm sorry. It's over, Biden bros. I don't know how you come back from this. I am astonished. It's not even been a week at how many Democrats have come out to bury Joe Biden. He's got more knives in his back than Julius Caesar. And yes, some of them are even from sitting senators. It would be one thing if these were just leaks, if there were just anonymous sources saying that, oh yeah, certain high-level Democrats are concerned about Biden's mental fortitude. It's like, no, you have Democrats going on TV saying this publicly, that they think that the president is a vegetable and that he needs to step down for the good of the country. You have very high-ranking Democrats going on TV and saying, yeah, it's probably fair at this point to question Biden's mental faculties. And these are not, far right-wing Democrats or something like that, as if that even exists. These are very mainstream Democrats. These are normie Democrats. These are go along to get along, party loyalists. Okay, Sheldon Whitehouse is not a bomb thrower. He's from, one of the deepest blue states in America, Rhode Island, which isn't even a real state. He's not having to triangulate in order to ward off his right flank. There is no right flank in Rhode Island. This guy just honestly believes that there's something wrong with Biden. He watched TV just like the rest of us, and he's like, what the hell is going on here? According to Tucker Carlson, Barack Obama, despite publicly backing Joe Biden, is trying to knife him behind the scenes. He's trying to push him out. Nancy Pelosi is on MSNBC saying, yeah, it's pretty fair to question if Biden's all there at this point. Because that wasn't a great debate performance, was it? He might be starting to slip mentally. This is what Nancy Pelosi thinks. 84-year-old Nancy Pelosi. She looks at Biden and go, that guy, he might be losing it. I understand why people might be asking that. Whoa. And supposedly, Biden is being sheltered now. People from his own party, they can't talk to him. Jill, let me just say, because I said that a little fast, maybe you didn't hear. Jill Biden, his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, the very same, she is apparently keeping him isolated. She's not allowing any naysayers around him. She's not allowing anyone to visit him, to verify that he's all right. This has entered full Woodrow Wilson territory. Joe Biden is being propped up in his chair by his wife. Members of Congress, they're not allowed to see him. Democratic governors are not able to speak with him. According to Jake Tapper of CNN, the very same Jake Tapper that moderated the debate on Thursday, he says that all the Democratic governors got together and had a conference call just to discuss this, to say, hey, if any of you talk to the president, no, he won't take my calls. Oh, that's strange. He won't take my calls either. Nobody has seen or heard from him. All that we've seen have been his teleprompter readings that he's done a couple times in public since the debate on Friday and yesterday. He has not spoken extemporaneously to anyone. He has been on a script every time that he has been seen by anyone other than his family or his closest associates. Apparently, his son Hunter is now working at the White House and is essentially helming Biden's crisis management team. He's brought in Hunter Biden, the crackhead, as the pinch hitter. I repeat, the Biden war room is being chaired by Hunter Biden. So you have members of Congress questioning his mental faculties. You have Democratic governors concerned that they are not being allowed to speak with him, that they are unable to verify that he is in fact conscious. You have Barack Obama potentially manipulating things behind the scenes to try and push Joe Biden out. And now we have Democratic internal polling, which has leaked, showing Biden losing not just all of the swing states, but even a bunch of the states that are one tier removed from the swing states, meaning I guess you would call them likely Democrat states or lean Democrat states, states that, were not really competitive, that Biden wasn't worried about losing, that the Democrats shouldn't be worried about losing. But if Trump has a really good night, these states could be close. This internal polling, which has been leaked by a group that is tied to Biden's own super PAC, it shows him losing in states like New Hampshire, New Mexico, within less than 0.5% in Minnesota and Maine. And all of these polls are since the debate. It shows that about on average across every state that was polled, all these swing states, Biden has lost 2% support as a result of that debate, which is not as big as you might think, but he was already pretty far behind. So, for example, they show him down now 7% in Pennsylvania, down 10% in Georgia. These are the examples of must-win states for Trump. Biden doesn't want to be down 10 points in Georgia, 7 points in Pennsylvania. I mean, if he's down 7 points in Pennsylvania, he's done. The night's over, and it's over early. There won't be any staying up till 3 a.m. waiting for another round of ballots to be printed. We will know by 8 p.m. Eastern time. Oh yeah, Donald Trump is going to be the 46th president or the 47th president of the United States. That's how bad things are, according to these Democratic internal polls, which are being leaked in order to hurt Biden and help other candidates. Because they also show, now unfortunately, I'd link to the article, but it's paywalled. I guess I can still link to it. I'll have to try and find it again. But people who I guess subscribe to this service, Puck News, who I'm not familiar with, but other people are sharing is credible, so I guess take that with a grain of salt, if you will. People who are not these are not like Republican partisans or Democrat partisans. These are people who general like election monitoring accounts in America. People who tweet about election stuff. Not super partisan or opinionated accounts. I was seeing share this around. And again, the source in the article is clearly stated. It's oh God, what was it called? Open something. I forget now. I'll just have to link to it. It's some polling group, research group that is connected to Biden's super PAC. So like this isn't even. It's not even that anonymous. So anyway, what it shows is that Biden would lose in a landslide against Trump. It shows that Harris and Newsom, the two Californians, they would lose, but not as badly to Trump, and that I think, based on what I saw, they're saying that Buttigieg and Gretchen Whitmer would be able to win. I would take the rest of that with a grain of salt, because obviously the point of this leak is to make the other candidates look good and to make Joe Biden look bad. So I would take with a grain of salt what they say about how well the other candidates would do in these given states. But what there is to take away from this is that within the Democratic Party, there is a massive movement to remove Biden as the nominee. And they want to do that quickly before his name is set in stone on ballots in any state across America. I think we've got like 3 weeks for Ohio. A couple other states coming up too. And so they will need to have some Biden removed and someone else put in his place in time for that. And so they're moving quickly. This week, it seems like they're trying to nudge him out. Your higher level Democrats, you could say maybe the strategy is that they don't want to force Biden into a corner. They're trying to be somewhat subtle. People like Pelosi and Obama, in order to allow Joe to make the decision on his own, to make it easier. But perhaps within the next couple weeks, if he doesn't get the message, they'll have to get more aggressive and use force. Because we're seeing the nudging here with the leaks, we're seeing the nudging here with lower-level Democrats saying he's got to go. Like I said, it's been less than 1 week since the debate. At the speed at which things are moving, I wouldn't be shocked if Biden is out of the White House by this time next week. Because it looks like the only allies he has left are Jill and Hunter. The rest of the Democratic Party seems to want him out. But hey, again, the best thing for the Trump campaign, for those who want to see the Democratic Party lose in November, the best thing that could happen would be for Joe Biden to stay in this race. I think the easiest thing, though, for them, I think for the Democrats to save face, and this isn't something that would win them the election, I don't think, would be going with Harris, because it won't look like as much of a coup then. I mean, if they just rip Biden out of there and replace him with someone who was never running for president, like let's say, Gretchen Whitmer's dreams came true, and she went from being the president of the Homeowners Association to being the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party of the United States. That would be blatantly undemocratic. At least they could make the argument that, hey, the point of the vice president is to be there in case the president can't continue. Something has obviously happened to Joe Biden. He's in poor health. He's going to need to step aside, and so the vice president will step up to take his place. She's already been the vice president, for 4 years, and so people knew when they were voting for Biden for re-election in the primary that they were also voting for her, to be vice president, basically, even though she technically wasn't on the ballot. She's a known quantity. I think that's something that maybe people would be able to accept as voters, even if, again, she's not likable. I don't think people would feel like their vote is being stolen as much. But if you just yoink Biden off the ticket and replace him with some random person who wasn't running, like Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or Pete Buttigieg, someone who didn't even do well in the 2020 primary when he ran, someone who was completely rejected by America, kind of like Kamala Harris. But again, Buttigieg has not been vice president for the last 4 years. That I think it would look worse for them, even if, let's say, they think he's a more marketable candidate overall. So, there are trade-offs here. But again, the easiest thing, have Biden resign, force him to resign, and say, you know what, this is too much for me at this point, and I've made this difficult decision, with my family. This has been 100% my decision. This is the easy thing for Biden to do. This is the easy way out they're trying to give him before they have to get tough. I've made the difficult decision to step aside and spend time with my family and focus on my health. Then Vice President Harris steps up to the podium, says, guess I'm in charge now, and then goes on to lose the presidential election, but perhaps in a less embarrassing fashion for the Democratic Party, something that perhaps salvages the down ballot a little better. So at this point, I feel like that's becoming the new base case. So anyway, with that said, I will see you folks back here in the next one.